They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Matt Madness Network live on YouTube. I'm your host for tonight, Alo Aaron Lloyd. Clap it up. Yes, thank you. My bestie decided to start leg day, so salute to him. He's out. He was out. He's a game time scratch. All right. So, as always, guys, subscribe on all podcast platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, and Stitcher. And make sure to subscribe, turn your post notifications, thumbs up, leave a comment, anything for the algorithm. So, let's get started. So, Wrestlepalooza happened. Yeah, it happened. It happened. A lot of backlash about the event. We'll get to it in a second, but ESPN rated it a C-, and I cannot disagree. Let's actually get into that right now, what ESPN actually graded this show, because that is real interesting to me about the event. It was a real honest thing. So if you thought you were going to get anything biased from ESPN about the WWE product, you're misunderstood, and we're mistaken. So Wrestlepalooza, the final grade, they gave it a C. Now, there's nothing wrong with a C, because trust me, I'm a C student. So there's nothing wrong with a C. I turned out perfectly fine if you think I have. The excellent Vaquer versus Sky match saved this show from being truly average. It was a phenomenal display inside the square circle. Everything else was either underwhelming, the short Rhodes-McIntyre match, or a setup for a future match, Lesnar dominating Cena. For a card that promised to have epic moments, it fell a little short of expectations. So, with that being said, I pretty much 100% agree. I don't disagree at all. I thought the show was mid. I thought it was underwhelming. And when it came to this show, did I think that they would kind of pull out all the stops, and did I think we would have a bunch of match of the year contenders? Sure, because you look at some of the matches you had, Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky, they did their thing as stated in the article. I 100% agree with that. The Usos and the Vision, I think there was a little left on the table with that, but there's a bigger story, especially with the whole LA Knight thing, and then with Roman Reigns returning eventually, and then the Survivor Series coming up. So there's a lot more longevity towards that story, in my opinion. And the John Cena Brock thing, now, if I had to say anything about that match had to be one of the most Vince things ever, because in my opinion, that's something Vince would do. Like, we were all on a high from the return of Brock Lesnar, because we never thought we would end up seeing him again, but we actually ended up seeing him, and then we don't see him again after a few weeks after SummerSlam until the build for this match, and we kind of get the same old. I will say that the aura, dude has aura. That new entrance with the black and white, fantastic. 48 years old in phenomenal shape, and it's the same old. It was. It's like I'm watching this. I have nothing really to look forward to when I see Brock Lesnar. It was just the same stuff when it came to him and John Cena. Now, I'm interested to see where we get John Cena going from here, because I believe we only have 4 more dates with John Cena, but there's just not a lot of meat left on the bone when it comes to this, especially Brock Lesnar, because I'll give you this. The intriguing thing about Brock Lesnar is the fact that we got that interaction with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman even introducing him at Wrestlepalooza. So that's something to keep your eye on. But at the same time, how much can we care about the same old shtick when it comes to Brock Lesnar? Can we see? Am I looking forward to him getting in there with some of the young guys if he's willing to, like Braun Breaker and Gunther, for example? Yes, but what else can Brock Lesnar bring to the table at this point in time? Because in my opinion, he's not really a draw. That's just my opinion personally. I don't think he's bringing anybody in the seats like, okay, Brock Lesnar's here anymore, and I didn't think that 10 years ago either. And my stance isn't going to change when it comes to that as well. I said Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, they had an excellent match. The marquee match that I think everybody was most excited for, the tag team match between CM Punk, AJ Lee taking on Rollins and Becky Lynch. I thought that match was fantastic. I thought it was fun. When I say fantastic, I'll just say this. I think it was a lot of fun because there were some spots. Of course, AJ has some ring rust, and it's also interesting to see because I talked about this a few weeks ago about when it comes to AJ when she's in the ring with these newer talents, because this is the first time she's pretty much in the ring with a newer talent that can actually go. So first match back, she has some ring rust, and Becky Lynch made her look like $1 million, and we have to see AJ Lee with this new. We have to see how AJ Lee's style works in today's wrestling with the women that we have today. And I thought that match was really fun. I thought the interaction between all four were great. I thought both women getting their spots, and on the men, I thought was fantastic. Becky and Seth, their chemistry off the charts in that match. I thought it was really good. The one thing nitpick I will give was AJ's like swatting with the hands. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I thought the match was really fun and what it really had to be. And they got an ample amount of it. They got so much time. I was surprised at how much time that tag team match got, but I was really a big fan of that match. I'm glad to see AJ Lee back, and we'll have to see what she has in store for her. More than likely going to be challenging Becky for the WYC Championship, and CM Punk will probably get his lick back on Seth Rollins in the near future as well. And Cody Rhodes and Drew it's whatever. It is what it is. Like, rumors came out that Cody wanted to drop the title to Drew on Saturday, but it didn't happen. But we'll have to see what happened with that. I do think Drew McIntyre deserves his just due, but it didn't happen. But it is what it is. So that entire article with ESPN, I 100% agree about what happened with Wrestlepalooza. It was just pretty much mid. But we got a few things coming out of it, and I'm looking forward to a few things coming out of it as well. So we got Crown Jewel coming up, and we know we are going to have the Crown Jewel Championship matches between the world champions on both respective brands. So we have Cody Rhodes, who's going to be taking on Seth Rollins. And interesting thing here is in their interaction on Raw Monday night, I really did enjoy it because Seth kind of helped tell the division to go off to the side, let him handle this. And this is the first interaction I believe these two really had since WrestleMania. I think it is. I'm almost positive. And I thought it was really good. I really did. I thought it was a great way to build towards the match, especially with the history that they laid out for them, because Cody Cody returned against Seth, then beat him those 3 times. And then also after that, we had them teaming up going into WrestleMania last year against The Rock and Roman. And the fact that Seth is kind of beaten in the head Cody actually beat in the head that you never beat me. And Seth Rollins, I can kind of tell that it actually aggravates him. He even talked about the Rolex that Cody got him at going into WrestleMania from last year. And it's the first time he's wearing it. And he's only in one space for one alpha. And I think that's a really good way to look at it, because it also, I think that the character that Seth Rollins has, I think that he's going to be adamant about actually trying to beat Cody Rhodes, because he has not beat him. You know, he's 3-0 on TV. There's something going around on social media that he's 0-22 against Cody since Cody come back, including house shows. But I'm really thinking that this could be a really good build. The only thing is, it's a 3-week build. That's the one thing about these PLEs now. They seem to be 3 weeks out opposed to 4 or 5. And I think we lose a lot of build when it comes to that, because I don't think there's a lot of meat on the bone all the time. And I talked about this a few weeks ago. Triple H, he doesn't overexpose a lot of his wrestlers, but I do think he underexposes them. And I think a lot of stuff needs a little bit more time. And this is one thing I think that could actually need a little bit more time, but they're actually making that Crown Jewel Championship ring actually matter. And if I had to ask for one thing in this entire thing, is I really want Becky to touch Cody, just so I can get this moment, just for the culture, one time.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night, bitch?
Just one time. I need it. I just need it for one time. So I'm looking forward to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. I think it's going to be a banger. I really do. And the next thing we got at Crown Jewel, John Cena put out a tweet to Triple H, and he talked about he needed one more match with AJ Styles, and Triple H granted him that wish. So we are getting John Cena and AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. So I hit him at this a few weeks ago. I thought AJ was going to beat Dom for the IC title, and that's how we got AJ versus John, because that's a part of Cena's Rogues Gallery, and John has not won the Intercontinental title. And I don't think he's even challenged for the Intercontinental title his entire career. So that was my whole process of thinking. But the rumor and innuendo is saying that he's going to challenge, that Dom's going to face him down the road with one of his last few dates. But but I'm looking forward to this match. You know, we talked about this. We talked about their previous match at SummerSlam a few months ago when we did a top 10 SummerSlam list. And spoiler alert, that match is going to come back up at the end of the year on my top 10 John Cena of all time match of all time list. That will be pretty high up there as well. The time is winding down for John Cena. It really is. And one thing I wanted to talk about is, has his last time is now run been a disappointment? And for me personally, I think it has. And I think it's been a disappointment because of none other than one Dwayne Johnson. Because I'll hear on this constantly that match, that whole heel turn with Travis Scott and The Rock, there had to be more to that than what actually happened. And who knows if we'll ever know what happened with that. But the success of his heel run was predicated on that. For the longest time, we had no idea why he was doing what he was doing. And when it came to that, it just left us like wondering, like, what the hell's going on? What's going on? He's cutting these promos. He's talking about the fans, but what about what? What about why? Why are you aligning yourself with him? Why did you sell out to him? And we didn't necessarily really get the answer. We got something. We got him basically being smart, being a visionary. For example, just knowing all the things that would happen and how he can pick his spots and actually get ahead. But other than that, we got nothing. That was his best promo that he actually cut that one episode, because we've got nothing of value when it came to John Cena in his heel run. You know, we had a couple good moments here and there. The highlight is probably going to be the Cody match at SummerSlam, but we deserved that after that bullshit we got at WrestleMania with Travis motherfucking Scott. But I think it fell flat. Did I want more? Yes, but also we had the limited dates that also affected it as well. And like the Raw thing I just talked about, the spread, like the 3 weeks out of most pay-per-views now. And a lot of these pay-per-views, few pay-per-view feuds were one and dones. So we didn't get a lot of longevity out of a lot of the feuds. Like Randy Orton was only a pay-per-view. CM Punk was only a pay-per-view. We needed more time out of these things because these are his rogues gallery. You know, it's fun. You know, it's fun to just go through the gallery. Like, okay, check him off. But a lot of it didn't really bring any value to us. You know, we got a couple good matches out of it, but what else? Like, what else do we have to go off of for the last time is down? A lot of it didn't feel like the last time, but we'll have to see because we have 4 more dates left with John Cena, so we'll see. But as of right now, unless my mind gets changed, I think it's been a disappointment. I really have. Love John Cena. If you've been listening from day one, you know we were against John Cena, but that one night we were like, why do we hate this guy? And when it came to John Cena, we became the official podcast of John Cena, the biggest Cena marks. But it's been underwhelming, you know, and I've tried to like it personally. There were things that I did like, but most of it fell really flat. And I hope we get really good things out of him in the last few days. I'm looking forward to the match with AJ Styles. If he has a feud with Dom, I'm looking forward to that the most because I know Dom can have some great interaction with John Cena. So I'm looking forward to that if that actually does end up happening as the reports say. And one more thing that happened from Wrestlepalooza. We had Stephanie McMahon get the news that she will be going into the Hall of Fame by The Undertaker. Well, Mark Calloway. So salute to Stephanie. And I will say this still about Stephanie.
I gotta pop my dick, man.
Still to this day. So Stephanie, always a class act, as always. And that announcement came to a surprise to me. You know, sometimes you don't think of people going to the Hall of Fame. And she's one of the people that I didn't think that would go into the Hall of Fame. You know, WWE Hall of Fame is not like the NBA or NFL Hall of Fame. A lot of guys they just put in kind of just like goes over your head. But well deserved. Absolutely. Stephanie McMahon, class act, exceeded all expectations for her career. Stephanie, I remember when Stephanie first came on TV. I really do. Like to me, she will always be Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. She always will be. And I remember the $1 billion princess, all the whining. Her voice was so annoying. And then she became like the SmackDown general manager and completed like a whole 180 with her career and the way she presented herself. You know, she was the hot GM. You know, she was actually in charge. She was not really like aligning herself with her father like that. And I still think she's the best GM that we actually had on TV, in my personally. And even even after that, her character work, when she does pop in, when she was with the Authority and the advocate that she was for women's wrestling, things like that. I think Stephanie is well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I really do. She was fantastic, overseeded expectations. Everybody said she's a chip off the block. She was a natural, just like Vince was, in a lot like him in many ways. But Stephanie McMahon definitely deserving of the Hall of Fame. So I'm looking forward to that speech. I'm not sure. I know the Undertaker said he's inducting her, but I'm not sure if he's going to actually induct her into the Hall of Fame. But I'm sure that speech will be fantastic. And I know a lot of people will have a lot of nice things to say about Stephanie. Stephanie's another one of those people that I don't recall ever hearing a bad thing about in the world of wrestling. I really don't think so. Everybody that has interacted with her or we've interviewed on this show have said that she's a sweetheart. And I'll have to agree because 25 years later, we have not heard one thing bad about Stephanie McMahon. So congrats to Stephanie McMahon again as well. And last night on NXT TV, we had the TNA invasion pop up. And me and Eric talked last week about how this is probably going to be booked really well, and it really was booked really well. So salute to WWE for that. I think the sprinkles of integrating people out in the shadows, in the parking lot, when people walk by, and then the main event, they would throw the shots in the crowd. I thought that was really well done. I really do. I really enjoyed it. And they all have a reason to be there. They are actually upset about what is going on with their championship. So there's an actual legit reason for them to actually want to be there and to finally take a stand on NXT. So I think it's really good. And I don't think they'll have any inclusion at No Mercy. I don't at all, because the TNA title isn't involved in anything for No Mercy. But I'm excited to see what happens. I really am. Like, we got everybody invaded. Like, a lot of people that we didn't gotten to jump the line yet. Like, we got Matt Cardona there. We got the Inspiration that was there. We had Cedric Alexander returning to NXT. SDL was there. So a lot of people who we hadn't seen on TV yet were back. And that was something that I was glad. Like, they legit brought everything out for this invasion angle. And it's not going to be some BS. It's actually going to be presented really well. And I talked about last week, I personally think that Joe Hendry is going to be the one to turn on TNA in the long run. to possibly end the invasion angle because of all the success he's actually had in WWE while being a TNA competitor. But also we have the former NXT stars that are in TNA, like the Inspiration. We had Inspiration, Matt Cardona, Cedric Alexander, guys like that, guys that we could be like, guys that they can plant in their head, like, oh, they might defect. This is where they came from. They might end up joining the other brand. So that's like a really nice intrigue to actually have. And even like with Trick Williams being the champion, it's like, okay, I'm the champion of TNA. You guys want to mistreat me here? I'll just go over there. I have their belt. Would he be accepted? Probably not. But it's something to actually look forward to and actually think about. And something that kind of made me laugh a little bit, it was the whole thing with Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, during the whole brawl, he just gradually walks by and picks up the NXT title. Like he doesn't care about this at all, which I thought was really funny. And I think that's something that we could look forward to as well. It's like, okay, is Ricky Starks, is he going to like, can he jump? Is he going to be in cahoots with TNA? It's something you can actually think about. It really is. You don't got to put up too much thought into it, but it's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. And that's how I thought the angle was great. Even had the backstage attacks. We did have them take out Jasmine Nex. Allegedly took out Jasmine Nex. Jasmine Nex no longer with NXT. She posted on her TikTok and Instagram that she would not be renewing her contract. And when it comes to that, spoiler alert, I think Lainey Reed will end up taking her spot in Fatal Influence, because if you've been watching NXT and Lainey Reed hasn't had a big interaction with them in the last few weeks up until last night, but she was always giving JC Jane and Fallon their props on what they were doing and things like that. And she's going to be challenging Sol Ruka for the speed title. So maybe she wins the speed title. But I do 100% believe that Lainey Reed is going to help JC Jane retain the women's title against Lola Vice at NXT No Mercy. But NXT No Mercy, I don't think anything is going to happen as far as the TNA invasion angle wise. But going into that show, it does have you thinking that maybe something will happen. So it has become must-see TV. But I think we're all looking forward to that anyway, because I think that card is stacked. I think Lola Vice versus JC Jane is going to be great. We have the steel cage between Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. We have that. And then we have the main event for the NXT Championship with Obafemi and Ricky Starks. So definitely a really good card. I'm looking. It seems like one of the better NXT cards in the last few months. So I think that's all I got for you guys. So as always, thumbs up, turn post notifications, anything for the algorithm. Ringside Collectibles, code MMAN to save 10% off your order. And iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, and Stitcher for your podcast needs. So that's it for the night, guys. I'm Aloy Lloyd, and I will see you guys soon.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a SummerSlam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't shake the land off the sale. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.